Hello everyone, so it is me, teacher Aziz, and this is class 4 science lesson. Hope you are all doing well and having a great time, staying home, staying safe, and enjoying your time and reading a lot. And okay, let's start today's lesson. So in this lesson we will talk about light. It is very important for all of you to know that this is chapter 2, page 210. And if you want to follow it and check it in your book, and hope you enjoy and learn a lot from it. Let's talk about a few vocabulary that is very necessary for you to know and learn about. In this lesson, we will use it a lot and we will repeat it and we will talk about them in detail. So it is important for you to know. The first one is reflection. Reflection. The second one is refraction. Refraction. Absorption. 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 Opaque, opaque, translucent, translucent, transparent, transparent, prism, prism, visible spectrum, visible spectrum. So these vocabulary, you can find more information about them in the back of your book, page 200, from page 275 to page 278. If you want to know about their definition, you can find them in those pages. So these are the necessary vocabulary, the vocabulary that you will need to learn in order to understand this lesson. Obviously, I want to talk about light, but before that, I have to talk about another thing, which is energy. Because if I want you to learn about light, you'll have to learn about energy. So, what is energy? Well, energy is the ability to cause things change. You will ask me, what do you mean, teacher? What do you mean by changing things? What do you mean? I don't understand. Well, I will give you an example. Have you ever seen a paper being burned? Well, the paper is not the same before being burned and after it is already burned. No, they change. That's the whole idea. There's a figure, a picture right in front of you. I want you to look carefully. So, as I said before, the energy in a fire change a sheet of paper into ash. So it is paper before it was burned, then it will change to ash. Now in winter you use heat in another way. Whenever you feel cold, you go and warm your hand from the heat, the fire. And this also, so whenever you do that, your hand change, the heat change your hand from cold to warm. Once again, let's say, what is an energy? Energy is the ability to cause things to change, just like the paper when it's changed to ash. Did you understand? Now I can talk about light, and I can say that light is also a kind of energy. Light energy can make many change. So now it is your turn to ask me, what are the change light energy could cause? And I already gave you three things that light energy could change. For example, without light energy, you could not see anything, because believe it or not, we need light to see. If you if there wasn't any light, you cannot see anything. Another thing, a light energy give everything color. Also, because of light, we see things in different color, and we will explain how. And also, the sun shine on the soil and plant grow, and you know very well now plants cannot do any photosynthesis without light. It is very, very crucial and very, very necessary for plants to grow. They cannot grow without light. So, can you give me a few examples about what light could possibly do beside what I already gave you? I'm pretty sure you can. You can comment down below. Now, did you know that doctors use light energy of laser to do some operations? Yes, they actually save people's life with light energy. It is amazing. It is awesome. So, did you know that solar satellites and space station in the satellites and space station, they actually use solar cells to change light energy to electricity? Yes, they don't use batteries. Instead they use solar cells. And these solar cells actually has the ability to change light into electricity. Well, why they use these solar cells? Why they don't depend on batteries? So if all satellites depends on batteries, instead they add weight. The added weight would make them too expensive to launch into orbit. That's why they use solar cells. So it is very important for you to know that this is another use and importance of light. Because of light, we can make electricity. And we have a lot of homes nowadays use these solar cells to make clean energy. Just imagine, you in your own home, you can make your own electricity by using light and these solar cells. Okay, let's talk about shadows and how shadows are made or formed. So, can you guys tell me how shadows are made? I'll give you 2 seconds. Okay, just like it is shown in the photo, you can make your own shadow whenever you like. How? When you put your hand in front of a lamp, you make a shadow on the wall, and you can make very funny shapes, just like it is shown right there. So try it. You're gonna have a really nice time. You need a very, very dark room and a source of light. A lamp could do the job, flashlight could do the job, and you can make different kind of shape with your hand's shadow. The shadows move and change shape as you move your hand. Why this happens? Well, shadows move and change because the way light travels. Okay, let's ask ourselves then, how do light travel? Light travel in a straight line. So whenever you move your hand, imagine your hand in front of the lamp or the light source, and when you put your hand in front of a lamp or a light source, some of the straight lines of the light hits your hand. The shadow on the wall shows where the light is blocked by your hand. So the shadow is actually formed when the light hits your hand instead of the wall. So how the shadows are formed? They are formed because your hand is blocking the straight the light that travels in a straight line. Instead of hitting, imagine there is a light travels in the room from the source, and the light wants to hit the wall, but instead of the wall, you are blocking it, so it hits your hand. Well, what happens behind it? A shadow will form behind the hand or any objects that blocks the path of the light. Now in the second image, I am showing you forest. In the forest you can see a lot of trees. The tree is actually blocking the light, and you can see the rays of the light going in a straight line, and actually they are forming a shadow. The trees forming a shadow because they are blocking the passage of the light. So this is how the shadows are formed. And this happens whenever you stand in the sun. You block some of the lines of the sunlight, and you are making a shadow. You can see your own shadow. You can chase it, but you will never catch it. Now also you should know that long ago, in a very, very early times, human beings used shadow and light to actually tell the time. So whenever the time, I will ask you a question right now. What time is it, in your opinion, when the sun is in the middle of the sky, right above your head? Okay, I'll leave the answer for you. I will not give you an answer, and we will talk about it. Now, if I ask you to look at a mirror, what possibly could you see? Yes, you can see your own image or your own reflection. Why we can see our reflection? Okay, before I answer that, I want you to hold a lamp in front of a mirror, and you will see the lamp in a mirror. The light from the lamp moves in a straight line to the mirror, and when it actually hits the mirror, it bounces off. And this is very important because the whole idea behind reflection of light is bouncing off. When it hits the mirror, it bounces off, but it's still traveling in a straight line, but now it is going to a new direction. It is coming straight back to you. So what is a reflection? A reflection is bouncing light off an object. So what is a reflection? It is bouncing light off an object. And this is the whole idea behind mirror. Mirror has you already know. Before I say furthermore, I should ask you, you know that we have different kind of mirrors. We have mirrors that can make things appear bigger than they are. We have mirrors that could make things seem smaller than they are. So remember, a light bounces from a mirror like a ball bounces from a wall. So whenever you hit a ball to the wall, it actually bounces off. The same thing happens with a light. Whenever light hits the mirror, it bounces off, and you can see things in the mirror That's the whole idea behind mirrors. So in the end of this slide, you should know a few things. For example, you should know what is reflection, and you should also know what is why we can see our image in a mirror. We talked about bouncing light and how we see our own reflection. We will talk about how light bends. Now, you will have to know that a light does not bounce off every surface, and you will also have to know that light travels in a straight line, and light travels at different speed in a straight line. So the speed of light in air is not the same speed in water. It is definitely not the same speed in glass. So when light goes from one thing to another, for example, from air to water, it changes speed. And so again, light, whenever it goes from one matter, for example, from, let's say, glass to, let's say, water, just like the red light in the image in front of you. So the red light comes right from the glass, it hits the water, it bends, and you can actually look at it and watch carefully. Now I want you to look at the green light. The green lights come from air. The first matter is air in this case, not the glass. Then it hits the second matter, which is the water. This change in matter, it actually makes the light bend. Now if you look at the second image, the image of a pencil inside a cup of water, you feel like the pencil is broken. Well, it's not broken. What happens, the image look like that, the image appears like that because of the bending of light. Bending of light makes the pencil appear like it is broken. What about refraction? What is a refraction? Refraction is the bending of the path, the way of light when it moves from one kind of matter to another one. Again, what is the refraction? Refraction is the bending of light when it moves from one kind of matter to another one. So bending of light when it's moved, the lights move from one kind of matter to another one, just like when the light moves from air to water or from water to air. How can people use refraction? Scientists use refraction to study objects and fix problems. How? We will talk about it right now. Well, eye doctors, for example, make lenses to correct people's eyesight. Both glasses and contact lenses are designed to control refraction, as it is obvious in the image in front of you. Okay, let's talk about stopping light. You learned that you can see through air, water, glass. Light travels through these forms of matter, but most matter does not let light pass. When light, for example, when light hits a wall, the wall stops it. Doesn't let, if you were standing in a very, very sunny day, if you uh, stand in front of a wall, the sun cannot hit you because the wall stops or absorbs the light. So whenever the light is stopped by a wall, we say the wall absorbed the light, and stopping light is called absorption. Again, let me ask you, what is absorption? Absorption is the stopping of light when it hits an object. So whenever light is stopped by an object, we say the object has absorbed the light. When light hits most objects, some of the light bounces off and the rest is absorbed. Now let's say that the smooth, shiny object reflects most of the light that hits them. Other objects absorb most of the light that hits them and reflect the rest. The orange plate or board that is in front of you, it is obviously, when we look at it, it is orange. Why we see it orange? The answer is very simple. Well, when it is hidden by a light, it absorbs all the other colors that a light contain, the visible spectrum contain, and reflects only the orange color. So it the orange color is reflected and the other colors is absorbed. So you will have to know that. Let's change the board, the orange board, to a red delicious apple. Why I see the apple red? Well, because the other color is absorbed by the apple and the red color is reflected. That's why I see the apple red. Now, if we look at the different types of objects and the way that light bounces off them, there are three ways an object can interact with light. Scientists have named for each of them. The first one is translucent, translucent, again, translucent. The second one is transparent, transparent. The third one is opaque. Again, transparent, translucent, and finally opaque. This is how the objects interact with light. So all the different types of object are one of these three types. The first one, transparent objects. Transparent objects, object does not reflect or absorb much light. Transparent objects allow you to see clearly through them. For example, a cup with a very tasty juice that is made of a clear glass, or a window glass that has the window that has a clear glass, or the hourglass. Obviously you can see the particles of the sand in an hourglass. These matters are translucent object because you can see clearly through them. Again, whenever you have a transparent object, you can see clear image whenever you look through it. The second type of object is translucent object. Object reflects and absorbs some light. You can see blurry or fuzzy image when you look through translucent object. Some light is reflected from the object and some goes through it. Whenever you have fog on a window, even if the window is clear, it makes it translucent because you cannot clearly see what is behind the window. That's why it is translucent. So translucent object is an object reflect and absorb light, some light. Okay, the question that you should ask me right now is, Can I see through translucent object? Yes and no. You can see, but the image that you see behind it is not a clear image. Just like you can see in the image in front of you, I can still see there's something behind the glass, but I don't know what is exactly the object that is behind the glass, but I can see there is something there. So this is how the translucent object work. The third and the final one is the opaque object, just like a door or an object that completely stops the light. So what is an opaque object? Opaque object is an object that reflects or absorbs all light. So it reflects or absorbs all light. If you try to look through an opaque object, you see only light reflection from the object. A wooden door is an opaque object, or a wood is in general is an opaque object, so you cannot see through it, or you cannot even see a blurry fuzzy image. Why? Because it reflects or absorbs all the light. I'll try to ask you a question. What is the color of the sun whenever you draw it on a piece of paper or in an art class? What color you draw the sun with? Do you color it with yellow? Many people use yellow to color the sun, but the sun is really made of many different colors. Yellow is one of them, but the sun is not yellow in reality. The sun light you see really is white. White is the color of all the sun's color mixed together. So you have to ask me, how do you know, teacher? And how should I see the colors that all the colors that make the white color of the sunlight? Well, it is easy, and you can try it at home. The necessary thing that materials that you need to try is a small mirror, clear glass, water, and a flashlight. Now, the first thing you should do is gently place the mirror into the glass, slant it up against the side, fill the glass with water, set a glass on a table, turn out the lights, make the room as dark as possible, then shine the flashlight into the glass of water, aim it to the mirror, of course, adjust it and adjust your aim until the light hits the mirror, and tell me the result. Or better say, take a picture of your result and send it to me, please. Thank you. Okay, what you see in this case, you will see the light, the flashlight will separate and you will see different colors. Why? Different colors of a light travel at different speed in the water and in the glass. When the white light from your flash move from air to the glass or from air to the water, the different colors of light bend at different angles, and they separate into individual colors. That's why you see beautiful different colors. Scientists use a glass triangle prism to experiment with light. A prism is a solid object that bends light. Again, what is a prism? A prism is a solid object that bends light. a solid object that bends light. When white light, sun's light, hits the prism, each color of light bends at different angle. Red light bends the least, blue light is bent the most. So as you can see, we have red. By the way, that's the picture of a prism, and you can see the white light going from one part. In the other part, you will see the light has bent into different colors: red, yellow, green, blue, and purple, and many other colors between. So why? Because each colors of light bends at different angle. Red bends the least, blue lights is bent the most. So light that passes through a prism separate into a rainbow. The colors of a rainbow makes up the visible spectrum. And what is the visible spectrum? It is made up of all the colors of the light that people can see. So a visible spectrum, another vocabulary, a word in our vocabulary is visible spectrum, is made up of all the colors of the light that people can see. So white light is made up of many different colors of light. When a beam of white light passes through a prism, it is refracted twice, and once when it's passed from air to into the glass, and again when it passes from the glass into air. The colors of light are refracted different amount each time, so the beam spread out into a rainbow bands of color, as you can see in the second picture. So the visible spectrum is made up of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and so on. If a prism breaks white light into colors, can we mix different colored light and make white light? Imagine. I'm pretty sure everyone tried in a art class. I have tried it for myself, by the way, mixing colors to create a new color. We can do the same thing with light. When you add different colored light together, they form other colors. Shining a red light and a green light onto the same spot will make a yellow light. Let's try with a blue. Let's use a blue light and a red light and on the same spot. It will make, I have tried it, it will make a purple light. You can add a red light, blue light, and a green light in a different ways to make all other colors. I want you to try it. It is very fun, and this technique is actually used in televisions, in computer monitors. This is how you can see different colors on your TV at home. Inside the TV screen is coated with millions of tiny dots, pixels of red, green, blue colors. Dots that are near each other are made to glow in different patterns and brightnesses, and your eye combine the colors to make pictures you see. Okay, I have already talked about this in a very short way, but I will talk about it again in detail. why we see things in different colors. Why previously I talked about the orange board, or the red apple, or a green leaf. Why the things are different in colors. The most objects absorb most of the light, as I said, but not of all of it. So part of the light is reflected. The light that is not absorbed is reflected. That is reflected is the color that you see. Again, not all the colors are absorbed by the objects. Some of it is reflected. The color that you see, for example, green grass absorb all of the white light except the green part. That's why you see it green. So the green part reflected back to your eye, and as I said, that's why you see it. You see the grass green. A red apple, all the other colors of the white light is absorbed by the red apple, and you see it red because the red is reflected. The orange board, is the same. Let's have a quick quiz in the last slide and see what you have learned. And your answers, I want you to put it in the comment section down below so I can see them and check them. So the first question says, what is a reflection? The second one, how does light travel? The third one is a picture. I want you to name those arrows if you can. And good luck, and try to answer them. And I want you to check out page 226 in your book. It is chapter review. Try to answer those questions, and good luck.